Hey folks, Colin here from Sumthins Recording, and today I want to show you how to mix Hammond B3 organ to sit perfectly in your mix in just 2 steps. We're going to be looking at organ today, but before we dive in, if you're ready to go a little bit deeper into the mixing process in its entirety and really start honing your workflow as an engineer, then I have just the thing for you. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and it's just a simple PDF that will walk you through the entire mixing process step by step to help you get professional and radio-ready mixes without any more of the hassle and without any more of the guesswork. It is a completely free guide, and you can download it below using the link in the video description. Now let's jump in here and take a look at this organ track. So this is a mono B3 organ sound we have here in the mix. Let me play you what it sounds like inside the instrumental track, and then I will solo up our organ. You can hear what it sounds like on its own there as well. Nice Hammond B3 sound to really glue this track together, give it some that churchy energy, right? So what we're doing here, just 2 steps here. We got EQ and compression. Let me play you before and after on these plugins, and then we will jump in. You can hear really waking up this organ tone here and helping it contribute its fundamental energy to this track. It really helps to glue things together, putting our organ here on the side, and gives it that nice churchy vibe, which is pretty nice in this track. First step here is EQ. All we're doing is a couple moves here. We're using our filter, so our high pass filter and our low pass filter, to isolate or hone in on the fundamental frequency range of this organ here. I'm going to turn off our compressor for the moment, and I will turn off this boost here in the top. And then I'm going to A-B this EQ here for you. I want you to notice how it really just hones in on the essential area of this organ. Cutting off quite a bit of that low end there below 300. You can see our high pass is up at 303 hertz. Our low pass filter isn't doing that much to affect the organ. We're just making sure when we do boost up here, we're not going to get a ton of air or noise from the organ here. So we're at 5.04K, but we're cutting off a ton of low end here. Reason being is we don't need that low end in the mix, and realistically you're not going to hear it inside the track. It's just going to give you mud on the sides of your mix, especially with this organ being panned out to the side. I don't want to hear any of that. I don't like that kind of low mud being widespread on my mixes, so we're trimming all of that off there below 300. Next thing we're doing here with this EQ is we're boosting 5.28 dB at 3K. So this is going to wake up that organ sound. Take a listen here. A little bit of high mid energy there, excuse me. Helps to bring our organ to life a little bit, and it emphasizes some of that distortion coming from the B3 sound, which is really, really nice. So just a couple moves there. That's our step one, is our EQ. Isolating the frequency range, the fundamental frequency range of our organ, getting rid of some of that low mid area, and then boosting the organ sound. That's that 3K area, that high mid area, going to give you that B3 sound and give you some more of that distortion, which is really nice. Step two for me, this is not required, but it's something I really love doing, especially on organ, especially on B3 organ with that kind of vintage vibe already. Putting this Fairchild emulation on it just helps to take it to that next level. Just a little bit of, I don't know, it's that extra sauce to help it feel and sit really good in the mix. This gives it some depth with it being a vintage plugin, and it also helps to hold it down a little bit. You can see our organ's not too drastic changing in volume. There's some dips, and this little bit of compression is going to help it hold it even, but it's going to give it a nice vibe as well and some depth, which helps it sit really nicely in the mix here. So let me A/B this plugin, this compressor, and you can see what it's doing to our mix. So we'll start without it, and then I will kick it in for you here. Just about 1 to 2 dB of compression. I like pushing the input gain a little bit higher on this. We're on the fastest time constant. So just pushing the input gain a little bit and then pulling up our threshold till we're getting about 1 to 2 dB of compression. Not much here on the organ, but it helps to round it out a little bit. Using this Fairchild is always something I like on organ because it gives it that full and round sound. It handles the top end really nicely. You don't get any kind of distortion or artifacts coming from pushing this distortion from the organ into the compressor, but it also handles the low end and the low mid in a really nice way. We've cut out the excess low end, but putting this compressor afterwards, even just doing 1 to 2 dB of compression, helps us get a little bit of that low mid area back, but in a really nice and even way. So let me do an A/B here on both of these one more time, and then we'll put it in the track, and you'll hear in the track how much depth we get from this compressor. And you can hear this nice boost up top, helps it to cut through the mix, and this cut down here makes sure it's not too muddy in our mix. You can hear without the processing in, without the EQ, without the compression, the bulk of our frequencies on the organ are in that low mid and low mud area, which doesn't contribute to the mix, it doesn't contribute to the song. So getting rid of that with our EQ, emphasizing our nice high mid area to give our organ some space to cut, and then giving it a little bit of compression to add some depth, some analog vibe to it. All in all, helps our organ sit perfectly inside this track. I hope that was helpful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you are ready to take your mixes to the next level and really start dialing in your workflow as an engineer, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 7-step mixing checklist, and you can download it below to start creating more professional mixes in less time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.